Hi guys, how are you all today morning? Good morning. Today is 25th May 2022. My name is TSV Raghavan and I live in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. I am a published author with Amazon Kindle and paperback. I write on spiritualism, fiction, and assorted subjects. Spiritualism happens to be my favorite subject. This is my spiritual channel on YouTube. Today we shall discuss a bit about human and other life and how it all originated. Let us contemplate on this subject and find out what we have learned so far from our studies, observations, and meditation. First, you must have seen a seashell. Actually, it is a living entity which has its mouth open and it lies in the ocean where by chance some foreign particle drops into that particular shell's mouth and goes inside the shell. To prevent that shell, that foreign object from irritating the shell, this shell wraps its own glue around that foreign object so that it may act as a cushion against the body of the seashell. This thing, when it is completed and when it lies inside the seashell for long, it becomes what is known as a pearl. I have given you this example because our own spiritual and material world is quite similar, though there are some differences. When it comes to pearl, it is used as a part of some expensive necklace. But here, in spiritualism and materialism, what happens I would like to discuss with you. There is a spiritual entity called the soul. This soul is spiritual, but by chance, just like that foreign object, this soul gets in touch with the material world. When it does so, it is time for that particular soul to start on a long journey of repeated births and deaths. In that case, just like the shell wraps its own glue around that foreign object, this material world wraps 4 layers of bodies around this soul so that the soul can be in the material world till it is self-realized or realized and it is able to break itself free from the material world. So here there are 4 layers of the material glue, also known as bodies, that wrap around this soul. The first layer is causal intelligence. The causal intelligence and the soul are again wrapped around by what is known as astral mind. The astral mind layer, along with the causal intelligence layer and the soul, are further wrapped around by what is known as etheric senses. And all the three, along with the soul, are wrapped around by what is known as the gross body. Now, the causal intelligence, the astral mind, and the etheric senses are subtle, whereas the gross body is made up of air, fire, water, and earth. Now, this causal intelligence, this astral mind, and this etheric body are all material and they are made up of the first element, which is called the ether. Now, we know how a particular living entity is born. As soon as the soul is so wrapped around by four layers, its life cycle of repeated births and deaths begins. There are several species of living entities in this world, and the soul has to go through all the births and deaths. There are trees, insects, birds, beasts, etc., aquatic animals, etc., and this particular soul keeps moving around in those repeated births and deaths. Every time it dies, that particular gross body dies, but the astral mind, etheric senses, and the causal intelligence remain. These three, along with the soul, take birth in another gross body. This keeps going on till this particular soul, along with these subtle bodies, takes birth in a human body. Only when a person is born as a human living entity does his or her destiny begin. There is a valid reason why it is so, because only humans have what is known as sixth sense. The other five or lesser are in other living entities. It is the sixth sense which gives a chance to the human living entities to start their own destiny or karma, as it is called in Sanskrit. What happens now is that there is the causal intelligence, the astral mind of feelings and emotions, and the etheric senses, which are sight, smell, hearing, taste, and touch. These three subtle bodies have their own vibrations, individual vibrations. The vibrations of all the three layers of the subtle body are joined together, and thanks to a catalyst called false ego, they become a tight-knit material which gets its outlet through the gross body made up of air, fire, water, and earth. Actually, the only thing that is visible through the naked is the gross body of a human living entity. We all do not see the subtle bodies of the etheric senses, the astral mind, and the causal intelligence because we are not capable of doing so. Now, there is a link between the gross body and the three subtle bodies. This link is known as the brain. The brain is a massive thing in the head of every human living entity which provides a link between the etheric senses, astral mind, causal intelligence and the gross body. We shall talk about this in detail tomorrow in my next video. Please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so that I can keep reminding you of my other videos. Till we meet next time in my next video, it is good morning from TSV Raghavan.